I am going to be taking a few minutes each day to present a little information on a topic about including math as a part of your bedtime routine each day. Most of us have a bedtime routine for our kids, and you can think about some of the things that are in your child's bedtime routine, like bathing and brushing teeth and reading a book and snuggling and getting water and an extra hug and turning on the nightlight and one more hug and probably more water. Oh, and I forgot to go to the bathroom, and you know how that goes. So here's some information about the importance of reading to children. Reading to young children stimulates their development and gives them a head start when they reach school. Apart from helping their reading, sharing a bedtime story with a child promotes their memory. It also improves their emotional and social development. Most important is that reading aloud is a period of shared attention and emotion between parent and child. This reinforces reading as a pleasurable activity. Children ultimately learn to love books because they are sharing it with someone they love. Of course, reading at bedtime and reading to your children is a majorly important activity, and all of these things in this statement are true, but let's replace those highlights with math phrasing to see if that is equally true. Talking about math with young children stimulates their development and gives them a head start when they reach school. Apart from helping with their math skills, sharing bedtime math with a child promotes their memory. It also improves their emotional and social development. Most important is that bedtime math is a period of shared attention and emotion between parent and child. This reinforces math as a pleasurable activity. Children ultimately learn to love math because they are sharing it with someone they love. So when we replace the highlights with math phrasing, do you feel like that could also be true? So when you think about bedtime math, you might be thinking, well, I don't have a math book at home to read to my child, and how would that even work? Well, math at bedtime is just another way for you to connect with your child on an interpersonal level, but it's also a way to make math something that is a part of a normal routine, something to be enjoyed, and something that we do together. You do not need a book. In fact, you don't need any materials to do math with your child at home. One of the best things to come around in a long time in the world of math instruction is a practice called number talks. Number talks focus less on rules and procedures and memorization and focus more on understanding the relationships that allow these rules and procedures to work the way they do. In a number talk, the teacher takes the role of facilitator of learning, as opposed to being the sole provider of all of the telling and explaining. So in a bedtime math routine, you would facilitate that discussion. So here are a few of the discussions I put together. I will present one of these each day, so please come back on subsequent days to find out other ideas to share math at home with your child. This doesn't have to just be at bedtime. This might be while you're waiting for dinner, or while you're driving around in the car, or waiting in the drive-through line, or waiting in a line someplace else. So let's try this first one out and see if it's something you think you might be able to do with your child. Our first routine is called Guess My Number. Now you'll need to have a range of numbers that your child understands. If you have a child in kindergarten, they might have a range of numbers they understand within 30. If you have a child in first grade, they might have a range of numbers within 100. And if you have a child in second grade, their range of number knowledge might be within 1,000. So you'll have to kind of have an idea of the level of numbers your child understands to make this activity successful. If you're not sure, you might try out with the lowest level and see if that works. If it seems too easy, you can go up to the next level and so on. So let's try out this scenario, and I'll tell you a number in a range to get us started. So if I said my number is between 0 and 100, you're going to think about some math words and phrases to make your guesses. You need to make sure to only answer with yes and no to allow the child to develop questioning that will help them to determine your number. So for instance, if I chose the number 44, I would say my number is between 0 and 100. As the child makes a guess, let's say the child makes a guess of 90, I would say, no. You want the child to use guesses like, is it less than 90? Is it greater than 90? Is it in the 90s? Is it odd? Is it even? Is it in the 40s? That's a decade number. Is it between 10 and 50? Is it after 20? Is it before 50? All of those questions can be answered with yes and no. It might take some time before your child understands how to appropriately ask yes and no answerable questions. So that's something you might have to model for your child. You and another adult, or you and an older child, might play the game to give your child an idea of the types of questions they might ask. So try a guess my number with your child and see how it goes. I'll be back tomorrow to present another idea for a way to incorporate math at home with your child at bedtime or anytime. See you soon.